this is linear motion, and it says a coast bus left Nairobi at 8:00 a.m. and traveled towards Mombasa at an average speed of 80 kilometers per hour. At 8:30 a.m., Lamu bus left Mombasa towards Nairobi at an average speed of 120 kilometers per hour. Then you are being told, given that the distance of Nairobi and Mombasa is 400 kilometers, the first question is, determine the time Lamu bus arrived in Nairobi. Guys, I couldn't elaborate well with my pen since I'm holding the camera and I'm also explaining. So I've already done it there. The only thing that I can do is just to show you how I did it. Now, the line there, I drew it to help me summarize the whole problem so that every student right there to see what I was doing. Now, in 8 a.m., you're being told that Coast Bus was leaving Nairobi. And again, after 30 minutes, Lamu Bus was leaving from Mombasa, coming to Nairobi. So to mean these buses, they are coming in opposite directions. So the first thing that we need to look at, since we've been given the speed for both sides, so the first thing we are going to look at relative speed. And since both of them are from opposite directions, then therefore we are going to add their speed to get relative speed. So 80 kilometers per hour plus 120 kilometers per hour, we are going to get 200 kilometers per hour. Now, after getting the relative speed, then we are being told to get the time Lamu bus arrived in Nairobi. Now, we know that the speed of Lamu bus was 120 kilometers per hour. Then, because they want time, we're going to say that time is equals to distance over speed. And the distance from Lamu or from Mombasa to Nairobi is 400 kilometers divided by 120 kilometers per hour, which is its speed. Therefore, 400 divided by 120, you get 10 over 3. This is same as 3 and a third hours, which can also be converted into hours and minutes. You get 3 hours, 20 minutes. Now, because you wanted to know the time, exact time, because Lamu bus arrived at 8:30, departed at 8:30, sorry, you're going to take 8:30 plus that 3 hours, 20 minutes. Therefore, you're going to get 11:50 a.m. So that is our first question. Now, the next question here, the next question was the time the two buses met. Now, if you want to know the time the two buses met, the first thing, we know the relative speed, which is 200 kilometers per hour. Then, 30 minutes before Lamu bus left, the distance we want to know before these 30 minutes, we want to know Coast Bus had covered which distance. So you're going to take speed of the Coast Bus times time, which is a half an hour, because 30 minutes is a half an hour. So 80 times a half, you get 40 kilometers. And therefore, after getting 40 kilometers, then at 8:30, Coast Bus will have covered 40 kilometers. So the remaining distance will be 400 minus that 40 to get 360 kilometers. I've described it there for those observing. The another thing, relative distance will be 360 kilometers. Relative speed is 200 kilometers. Now, relative distance is the distance that both of them had to cover. Relative speed is the speed that both of them are using. Now, to get relative time, we are going to take relative distance over relative speed. So 360 kilometers over 200 kilometers per hour. You're going to get 1 hour, 8 over 10 hours. Can be converted into hours and minutes. If we convert it, it will be 1 hour, 48 minutes. Therefore, we're going to the time the two buses met. Both of them at that time, they were at 8:30 a.m. So you add plus 1 hour, 48 minutes. You get 10:18 a.m. 10:18 a.m. Now the next question is the distance from Nairobi to the point where the two buses met. The distance from Nairobi to the point where the two buses met. Now, relative time, we know that was 1 hour, 8 over 10 minutes. It was 1 and 8 over 10 hours, which we had converted earlier on, and we got what we had written right there. And therefore, Lamu bus Lamu bus, the distance that Lamu bus took by that time, by 1 hour, 8/10 hours, sorry, will be speed times time. Now speed of the Lamu bus was 120 kilometers per hour times 18/10 hours, which is to 16 kilometers. So by that time, a Lamu bus had already covered to 16 kilometers. What about the coast bus? Let's look at the coast bus. Now we can also use coast bus to confirm our answer. Now distance equal to speed times time. We take 80 kilometers per hour times 18/10 hours. 18 times 18. Okay, this is 8, not 18, sorry. I think it was 8 kilometers per hour because the zeros will cancel the 0. And therefore it will be 8 times 18. You are going to get 144 kilometers. And therefore, for us to know the total distance of the coast bus, you're going to add with the 40 kilometers which it had already or initially covered, which was 40 kilometers. So it will be 144 plus that 40 to get 184 kilometers. Now, but we were told the distance from Nairobi. So from Nairobi, it will be 184 kilometers. That is coast bus. Now for Lamu bus, similarly for Lamu bus, we are going to take 400 kilometers minus 216 kilometers because Lamu bus was from Mombasa. So we take minus 400 to get, and therefore we're going to get 184 kilometers. Then the last question was how far coast bus is from Mombasa when Lamu bus arrives in Nairobi. Now the time taken by Lamu bus to Nairobi will be time equals to distance over speed. So distance is 400 over 120. You get 3/3 hours or 3 hours 20 minutes. Now we are going to ask ourselves at this time, where is coast bus? Now distance equal to speed times time. Speed of coast bus is 80 kilometers per hour times the 10 over 3 hours. You're going to get 266.67 kilometers. And therefore, total distance to Mombasa was 400 kilometers. So you take 400 minus 266.67 kilometers. Then therefore, we're going to see that it is 133.33 kilometers away from Mombasa. So that is how we do it. For those who are asking this question, I think I've elaborated well. You can subscribe. And if you have any other question, you can ask. Thank you so much.